My mom was in critical condition, and I rushed to the hospital to be at her side. She asked to see my husband, so I called him and put him on speaker. Unexpectedly, he yelled at me right off the bat.
"Where the heck are you?"
"I'm with my mom at the hospital. Didn't you get the message that she's in critical condition?"
"Who the heck cares about that? Come back now."
"Are you crazy? She's in bad shape. She's asking for you. Can you come here now?"
"Why do I have to go all the way there for your mom?"
"What?"
"It's my mom's 60th birthday today. What about the food and cake?"
"I'm telling you, this isn't the time for that."
"What nonsense are you talking about? My mom's celebration is more important. Forget about your mom."
That was the last straw for me. I felt an overwhelming surge of anger towards him. Nevertheless, I didn't want to start a fight at my mom's side. I turned off my phone and trembled in anger.
"Hey, what was that about?"
As I turned around, my eyes met a figure that stood tall and rigid, and his eyes ablaze in fury. "My name is Brianna. I've been a housewife for 2 years since I got married. I was raised by a single mother. After my dad passed away in an unfortunate accident when I was young, my mom raised me all by herself. She always wished for my happiness and worked hard to ensure I lacked nothing. My maternal uncle became almost like my father figure, who gave me lots of attention and love, so I never felt sad about not having a dad. Growing up, I initiated doing the chores, and Mom and I supported each other throughout our lives. Thanks to her, I went all the way to university, and later landed a job at a well-known online shopping company. Although she kept telling me to move out and live independently, I chose to stay with her. To thank her for raising me, I took her on trips and nice meals, spending quality time together. In my late 20s, she started asking me if I was seeing some nice guy. She seemed to worry if I, who was entirely dedicated to work, could find a life partner. I thought giving her grandkids would have been a way to repay her. I had a desire to get married anyway, so I registered at a matchmaking agency and began searching for a partner. It was there, after meeting a few people, that I was introduced to Larry, who later became my husband. He was a sales manager at a medium-sized machinery company. He was 2 years older than me, shared a desire for marriage, and was serious about building a relationship. Eventually, we started meeting up often and got to know each other better. He soon proposed, which I happily accepted. As I gazed at the ring on my finger, he said,
"I'm sure my mom would be thrilled to hear about our engagement."
"She's living alone, right?"
"Yeah, since my dad passed away a few years ago, she's been feeling lonely. She'd been overjoyed if I got married and had kids."
"My mom would too. After raising me all by herself, she'll surely be thrilled to know that I found someone."
"Yeah, we should go and share the news soon."
We planned to meet each other's parents right away. When I introduced Larry to my mom, she teared up with joy.
"OMG, you're getting married. I'm truly delighted. Larry, please take good care of her."
He responded with a squeeze on my shoulder, reassuring me. Next, we went to see his mom, Jocelyn. "Nice to finally meet you. I'm Brianna." As I introduced myself, I handed a box of sweets as a gift. She snatched it from my hand abruptly and peeked inside. "Oh, a roll cake? I'm on a strict diet for my high blood pressure. Are you trying to make me sick?" "Oh, sorry. I wasn't aware." "You should have just asked what I liked beforehand. You're pretty inconsiderate." Our initial encounter left me feeling uneasy. When Larry expressed his intention to marry, she looked straight into my eyes. "What are your parents saying about this?" Well, my father passed away when I was young, so my mother raised me. She's also happy about this marriage." She widened her eyes. "So you were raised by a single mother?" Yes." She turned toward Larry. don't go through with this marriage. A woman raised in a single-parent household is not suitable for you. I don't want my precious son to marry someone like that.
Mom, please don't say that. I do want to marry her.
Upon hearing that, she frowned. If you insist, I'll agree to it. Hey, you, make sure you fulfill your duties as a wife, all right? Yes. And so we started preparing for our marriage. Jocelyn seemed overly protective of Larry, and it was evident she didn't think highly of me, which worried me. Later, we tied the knot in a small, intimate wedding. It was regrettable that Uncle Ben, who had taken care of me since childhood, couldn't attend due to working overseas. However, seeing my mom shed tears of joy made me feel that getting married was indeed the right decision. Once our married life started, it was nothing like I imagined. Maybe because he had always lived with his mom, he couldn't do any household chores. When I asked for help, he bluntly said,
Housework is the wife's duty once you're married. Mom did it perfectly.
He just lounged around playing with his phone and didn't lift a finger to help. Furthermore, he wanted to visit his mom excessively. He insisted I come along, but once there, he engaged in conversations I couldn't follow with her, leaving me to do chores at her place. She made snide remarks and belittled me, yet I endured them for over a year. One day I received a call from my mom, whom I hadn't seen for a while. She hadn't been feeling well, so she got checked and found out she had cancer. She had to be hospitalized. I immediately left work to get to her side and listened to the doctor's explanation. The cancer had progressed considerably, beyond the possibility of treatment. She had about 6 months to live. Upon hearing that, tears streamed down my face. On the other hand, my mom looked determined.
Now that you're married, I feel at peace. I have no regrets in this life anymore.
Mom. When I returned from the hospital, I told Larry about her condition. So I'll go and spend some time with her after work for a while.
No way. Who's going to do the chores during that time then? What about my dinner?
His selfish concern for himself before her condition irritated me. Do it yourself.
Ugh, why should I? That's it, I'll have my dinner at Mom's then. She'd be happy too.
At such times, a good husband would say, I'll prepare dinner for you, but his loyalty was more toward his mother. I was dumbfounded. After that, I managed to visit my mom in the palliative care unit between work hours. Thankfully, she had great insurance, so I didn't have to worry about money.
You've always been reliable and kind. How's Larry doing?
She often asked about him, even though he never showed any interest in visiting her. To avoid worrying her, I had no choice but to lie. He's doing fine. We're doing great together. You have nothing to worry about, Mom. She showed a truly content smile every time I told her. While taking care of her, Jocelyn kept nagging me. Focusing only on your mother and neglecting Larry. What kind of a wife are you? She doesn't have much left. Shush! That's why I didn't want a woman from a single-parent household. I feel so sorry for Larry. Maybe it was just impossible to make her understand. A yielding sigh escaped from my lips. Larry still didn't do any chores and went to Jocelyn's whenever I wasn't around. I started contemplating whether I should stay in this marriage. I had doubts, but I couldn't tell my mom that I was considering a divorce, so I was troubled. 5 months into my mom's hospitalization, Larry came to me all excited.
Hey honey, you remember it's Mom's 60th birthday this Sunday, right?
Yeah, I've already bought presents.
Prepare a big feast and fancy wine too. It's her 60th, so we need to celebrate lavishly.
Despite not doing anything for my birthday, he was enthused by hers. I answered with a resigned sure, accompanied by a sigh. Early Sunday morning, I received a call from the hospital. My mom's blood pressure had dropped and she was disoriented. I got ready in a rush and tried waking Larry up, but he mumbled, and didn't open his eyes. Frustrated, I left him sleeping and headed out. I sent a message to his phone saying my mom was in critical condition and to come once he woke up. When I arrived, my only relative, Uncle Ben, who had also rushed after receiving the message, was already there. I heard he had returned recently, but it had been a while since I'd seen him. My mom was quietly sleeping, and her blood pressure kept dropping. Uncle Ben and I stayed by her bed, praying silently. By noon, Larry still hadn't shown up. I debated whether to contact him, but I wanted to focus on my mom. Holding her hand, I comforted her, when suddenly she opened her eyes.
Brianna, dear, you're here. Where's Larry?
Even in such times, she remembered to ask for him. I thought seeing him would make her happy. I didn't want to let go of her hand, so I put my phone on speaker and called him. After a few things, he answered. Hello, Larry. Mom is... His angry voice interrupted me mid-sentence.
Hey, where the heck are you?
I'm at the hospital. Didn't you see my message?
What message? Doesn't matter, just come back quickly.
I couldn't believe what he said. That's impossible. Mom's in critical condition. She's asking for you. Can't you come here now?
Why do I have to go there for your mom?
What?
It's my mom's 60th birthday today. What about the food and the cake?
I told you, it's not the time for that.
What nonsense are you talking about? Her birthday celebration is more important. Forget about your mom, she's nothing to me.
His voice echoed throughout the room. My mom sleeping peacefully was a relief. Nothing? Did you just call my mom nothing?
That's right. Enough. Just come back home now. Otherwise, you'll regret it later.
That was the last straw for me. I felt an overwhelming surge of anger towards him. Nevertheless, I didn't want to start a fight at my mom's side. I turned off my phone and trembled in anger.
Hey, what was that about?
As I turned around, I saw my uncle standing tall and rigid, his eyes ablaze in fury. Uncle Ben.
Have you always been treated like that? You even dared to speak that way about my sick sister.
I nodded to him and told him about the mistreatments I'd endured. Several hours later, my mom never woke up and passed away peacefully. I did ask Larry and Jocelyn to attend the wake the next day. They showed up wearing casual attire and confronted me.
You? Why didn't you come back yesterday?
Yeah, it was my 60th birthday. We ended up ordering takeout. I calmly responded to the selfish and insensitive too. I told you, my mom was critically ill. She's gone now and I want to send her off peacefully. Please pray for her.
Shut up. We came here to scold you. Who prays for your old woman?
Yeah, because of her, my celebration was a mess. Remember that. Jocelyn glared at me. Her nostrils flared. Let's get the heck out of here, Larry. I don't want to stay in this gloomy place. The two quickly turned to leave, but someone stopped in their way.
We're not finished yet. OMG!
While Larry was totally bewildered, Jocelyn frowned her brows and asked who it was.
He's the head of my most important business client. But Mr. Snyder, what are you doing here?
Upon hearing that, Jocelyn straightened up her posture. I then informed them. Let me introduce you. He's my late mother's brother and also my uncle, Ben Snyder.
What? Your uncle?
He was working overseas at the time of our wedding, so you haven't met him. Larry's face turned pale.
Oh, geez. Who knew your uncle was Mr. Snyder? I mean, it's quite a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Snyder. They tried to mend things by grinning foolishly. Then my uncle interjected sharply.
Larry, I've long known that you, the salesperson from our business partner, are Brianna's husband. I've seen your wedding photos. Oh, that's... But I remained quiet and have been careful not to let it affect our business dealings. Moreover, I even slightly favored your company to seal the deal. Brianna is like a daughter to me. Oh, that's very nice of you. I'm grateful.
Larry's face lit up and gave him a beaming smile, followed by Jocelyn. My uncle continued.
But I've changed my mind. I'll terminate the contract with your company. I've already informed your superior. What? Oh, you're just joking. It's a fact.
Larry tried to defend himself, turning pale. Then my uncle's expression turned fierce, reminiscent of the one at the hospital.
It's about more than just a conversation earlier. I heard everything you said over the phone yesterday. Wait, no way. What did you say to Brianna, who rushed to her dying mother's side? What did you call my sister, who is your mother-in-law? You told Brianna to come back home for your mom's birthday. You said forget about my dying sister. How dare you say such things? I'm truly furious about how you insulted my niece and sister. I don't want any dealings with a company having a low-life salesman like you.
Larry's face turned completely white, and he crumbled into his knees.
Please, forgive me. If you pull out now, my company will be... Don't you even try. All you can do is nothing but regret it now. And you're apologizing to the wrong person.
My uncle dismissed him coldly, and Larry staggered toward me.
Brianna, honey, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please convince him to change his mind. If I get fired, he'll be in trouble too, won't you?
I shoved him as hard as I could and yelled at him. Like I care. Your job has nothing to do with me anymore. We're getting divorced.
What? Divorce?
I can't stand being with you anymore. Just stay with Jocelyn forever, you mama's boy. Don't you dare show your face in front of me again. Larry and Jocelyn looked shrinking. Eventually, my uncle kicked them out of my mom's wake. Our divorce was finalized afterward. With a lawyer involved, I received a larger share of the joint savings. True to his word, my uncle stopped the business dealings with Larry's company. It was explained that the reason was due to his actions, resulting in him being transferred to a less prestigious position in the company. News of his behavior spread throughout the company, and he became known as an inappropriate mama's boy. He felt ashamed and eventually resigned. He's now back living with his mom. He doesn't work and tries to live off her support, causing her to take up a part-time job. It's said that there are frequent arguments heard from their home. On the other hand, I went to properly thank my uncle after everything settled.
Brianna, I hope you find true happiness. That's your mom's wish.
He even introduced me to one of his trusted colleagues. I'm not sure about my future with him yet, but from now on I'll do my best for my own happiness. I offer my prayers to my mom's portrait, asking her to watch over me.